Was the first personal foul on Ben Rhoda as Bradshaw goes to the line where last year he shot 58%. He puts Tennessee up by 3.
Tennessee with a very small starting lineup. In fact, Bradshaw is their starting power forward at 6 feet 4 inches.
The putback by Bradshaw, a little help there by Major Wingate.
And here comes what Bruce Pearl has talked about, pressing them when they get off the bus. The full court press causes the timeout by ETSU.
So the first timeout for the Bucks here tonight. ETSU struggled last year after making it 2 straight years to the NCAA tournament, Eddie. Last year, 9-18, 4-2 in the Southern Conference. Now, of course, a member of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Brad Knuckles, a big loss. Murray Bartow is trying to get his team back on track. What do you think he needs to do?
Well, right now they have to keep their poise. I think they will with Smith. This game is very, very early and very young. They need to settle down. Of course, they were only 1-13 on the road last year, Jeff. This team needs to play better on the road. They got Pegram, a freshman, in there with Smith. I think as this half moves on, you'll see them settle down and wind up breaking this press and get easy baskets.
Brad Knuckles, you just saw, most highly recruited player in the Bucks program. Coach Murray Bartow told us earlier today. As we have a foul call. Taking it out of bounds will be Dane Bradshaw.
Well, that's a push off on Knuckles, who has the 6'4" and 6'9". He has the 6'4". Bradshaw in the low post. They're trying to force the ball into the height advantage and gets the push off offensive foul.
Major Wingate finds Watson for 3. Bradshaw tries to get the rebound, but Knuckles knocks it away. So the Bucks take it back. Pegram inside, tipped away by Asumnu. It's foul basketball. Lofton misses the layup, and Knuckles is there for the board.
Both these teams looking to get up and down the court. Oh, yeah.
And Tim Smith gets on the board.
How about the shake and bake and the little lefty runner in the lane? Wow.
Here comes Wingate for 3. It's only going to count for 2. He stepped inside the line.
Tennessee backing the full court press off to a 3/4 court press to keep Smith in front of their defense.
Bradshaw again with the rebound, and Dane Bradshaw early on proving to be an invaluable player for this volunteer team. Foul's going to be called on Stanley Asumnu, his first personal. Asumnu, a 6'5" senior forward from Houston, Texas. Under head coach Bruce Pearl. Calls his defense the controlled chaos, Coach.
Well, it's controlled, but it is very, very well thought out, and it is a defense that tries to take the offense out of what it likes to do, out of what it spends its time practicing.
He just hopes that the offense can't figure it out. You can't figure out the double meaning of controlled chaos. That doesn't work, does it? And the Tennessee Volunteers last year under former head coach Buzz Peterson, 14-17, 6-10 in the SEC, and Bruce Pearl knows it'll be a long road for him to get this program back on track. As Sneed, Dillion Sneed, the biggest player on the floor, gets the rebound. Ben Rhoda. Foul is called as Jawan Smith, who's checked in, was there. It's going to be his first personal.
Tennessee already going to its bench. It's now gone 7 deep. The Bucks still have their starting 5 out there. Neither of these teams, Jeff, are particularly deep. Depth and foul trouble could be a problem for both these squads.
Talking about depth, the Bucks start with 12 players on the roster. Now they have 10 active players, including 1 walk-on, 4 of them freshman guards, 2 junior college forwards who transferred, and 1 walk-on, and 6 returning players for the Bucks as Knuckles falls on his back. And here come the fouls. For 3, C.J. Watson. And the fouls are up by 8. It's taken away by Tennessee. Here comes Patterson, but Pegram gets over there to try to stop him.
The outstanding defense under the basket. Bradshaw with an ill-advised, in my opinion, behind-the-back pass, but C.J. Watson, the senior veteran, pulls up under control and bangs home a three.
Already 7 turnovers for the Bucks and another three. This one by Chris Lofton, who was 4th in the NCAA in three-point field goal percentage last season. He led the SEC. Tennessee's on an 8-0 run, an 11-point lead.
East Tennessee, way too many turnovers, and Tim Smith trying to do too much has been part of the problem here. I look for Murray Bartow to settle his team down, get more under control, and have certainly more patience on the offensive end of the court.
Meanwhile, Bruce Pearl up by 11, but his roster is depleted as well. He said that it's the most difficult roster he has ever inherited with any program, as Tennessee, an 8-0 run in the last 124. Pearl is used to playing 9 guys double-digit minutes every game. Well, now he only has 10 active players at him.
Well, and he says he will not alter his style of play, Jeff. This frantic up-and-down style on the offensive end, pressing on the defensive end. Can a coach go at that pace without depth? That's a question that will need to be answered as the season goes on.
Almost the 9th turnover for the Bucks in the first 5 minutes of this basketball game. Snead to the hoop, and he's going to be fouled.
And that's
Andre Patterson, his first personal. Tennessee up 15-6. Right here on FSN. In their season opener, their home opener, and Coach Murray Bartow of the Bucks trying to figure out what to make things right.
Well, excellent timeout before this TV timeout that just occurred. He takes the timeout. They're struggling. He pounds the ball into Snead, who's a man in there, takes it to the basket and scores. Now going to try to get a three-point play. Big basket by the Bucks.
His dad, of course, the legendary coach Gene Bartow of UAB. University of Alabama, Birmingham, and the arena there in Birmingham named after his dad, Bartow Arena.
Well, Gene Bartow, an outstanding coach. Watching tonight, we understand from Murray in California. Hello, Coach Bartow, a tremendous coaching career. I had the honor of having a Vanderbilt team play against UAB when Coach Bartow was coaching them.
Gene Bartow now in a special role with the Memphis Grizzlies of the NBA, and he's going to evaluate players for Jerry West tomorrow at the Pepperdine UConn game out in California.
And East Tennessee State comes out in a triangle and 2. They're playing man-to-man on Lofton and man-to-man on C.J. Watson. And the other 3 defenders are playing a triangle, trying to keep the ball out of the guard's hands.
Lofton for his second tray of the night. No good. Diving on the floor, Ben Roditz, recovered by Tim Smith. Smith drives the lane. And the one-handed jumper by Tim Smith.
That's the score.
4 points for Smith, pulls his team within 7. No good by Jawan Smith of the Vols, but Tim Smith, the bounce pass inside, another turnover for the Bucks. Their 9th of the evening.
Excuse me, Murray Bartow, Jeff, out of this timeout, comes out in the triangle and 2 defense. 2 times Tennessee comes down, gets quick shots, scores neither time. You'll see East Tennessee State stay in this defense until Tennessee figures it out.
Chris Lofton, C.J. Watson. Knocked out of bounds. It's going to be off Snead, though, as Andre Patterson was over there. Seven-point lead for the Vols as Patterson inbounds. Here's Watson to Lofton, to the corner to Smith, and Smith nails the tray. And this Tennessee team showing it has many offensive weapons to start this game. 11th Tennessee point off the 9 Bucks turnovers tonight. And the Vols have hit 3 of 6 from long range. The Bucks have only taken 1 shot. Traveling call. The 10th turnover for the Bucks. So ball control a problem for Murray Bartow's club this evening.
The Bucks changing their defense back out of the triangle of 2. Looks like they'll be back in straight man-to-man.
It wasn't easy for Coach Bruce Pearl, as it wouldn't be for any new head coach, to get this team to adapt to his new style. And I think that's going to be a challenge all season long, or at least for the early part of the season, Eddie.
Well, I think it's a great recruiting tool, Jeff, as well. Kids want to get up and down the court. They want to press. They want to shoot threes. I think Bruce will sell this style of play and attract outstanding talent here to Knoxville.
Blocking foul is called. That foul is going to be on Eric Thomas, who's checked in. Eric Thomas, excuse me, will go to the line. As Patterson will inbound.
Nice out-of-bounds play underneath. They roll a screen across for the 6'10" Wingate. They just lob it up over the rim. He's too tall for the Buck defenders and gets fouled into the line. We saw Bruce Pearl in practice work on that over and over. Easy basket for Tennessee.
Major Wingate, the 6'10", 250 junior center from Florence, South Carolina. Pearl was pleased with his efforts and consistency in off-season workouts, and he said way back in mid-September that it would be hard to keep Wingate out of the starting lineup, and he's earned his spot there. Dished under by Pegram, picked up by Sneed, tipped by Wingate as they fight under the basket. Knuckles as it knocked away by Andre Patterson, and the fouls are going to run. Here comes Major Wingate.
Outstanding passing by Tennessee, making the extra pass, getting the easy basket.
12-point lead for the Vols and 6 points for Major Wingate. Tim Smith, in his first action for the Bucks this year, he was suspended for the exhibition game by head coach Murray Bartup. Knuckles to Pegram, the freshman. Misses the shot, and the Vols pick it back up. Bounce pass to Wingate, who slams it home.
A great look-away bounce pass to Major Wingate, cutting to the basket for the easy hoop. Great pass by Smith.
East Tennessee State takes a timeout.
Andre Patterson makes a great block, and it gets the Vols on the break, and easy baskets result. Tennessee on a great run. And the bounce pass look away by Smith to Major Wingate for the flush.
Major Wingate, talk about bringing energy to this building, Eddie.
A very young, talented player, Jeff, from Florence, South Carolina. When I was head coach at the University of South Carolina, the assistant coach of mine, Rick Callahan, said, Eddie, you got to go over to Florence and watch a 9th grader work out. And that I did, and saw a 6'10" youngster with a lot of potential. Major Wingate.
It's time now for our Southeast Toyota trivia question. Only 2 active head coaches have a higher career winning percentage than UT's Bruce Pearl. Can you name them? We'll answer that later. Maybe one of them sitting right next to me.
I doubt that, but one of them I used to be an assistant coach with at North Carolina, Roy Williams, but I do not know who the other is. If I had that kind of win percentage, I wouldn't be sitting here next to you.
You know I'm just kidding with you, Coach.
Thank you.
You are active, though. You're just not active in coaching.
That's correct.
12:45 to go here in the first half, and the Vols up 22-8 as Jawan Smith goes flying over the fans under the basket.
And with Tim Smith on the bench, Bruce Pearl does a smart thing. He's back to the full court press with Smith out of the game, taking a breather.
That was the second Vol turnover compared to 11 for the Bucks this evening. Courtney Pegram, the freshman from Memphis, Tennessee, White Station High School. To Rhoda in the left corner. Rhoda in the paint, dishes to Sneed, and he can't come up with it. And the Bucks haven't scored anything in the last 3 minutes of play.
Well, the size of Tennessee starting to bother both Sneed and Knuckles inside. The ball is getting in there, but they're having difficulty getting it over the taller Volunteers.
Andre Patterson will inbound, and Patterson himself, like Tim Smith on the Bucks, he was suspended. His suspension lasted a little longer, about a month. He didn't practice with this team until October 31st.
Well, both youngsters made mistakes. Both youngsters know they made mistakes. Coaches put their discipline in.
Patterson's layup rolls out.
And both players played their dues and in good stead with both coaches again.
Back for the start of the regular season, that's the important thing. But Andre Patterson missing valuable time learning Bruce Pearl's new system here at UT.
Well, that's Andre Patterson's second foul. That's a big foul against Tennessee. He's been very active and very talented, a very talented player.
It's his second season at UT, even though he's a senior, after transferring from UCLA.
Ryan Childress, a freshman that Bruce Pearl brought in from Ohio, now in the game for his first time as a Tennessee Volunteer.
And here comes Dane Bradshaw. Drives in the paint, ball knocked away by the Bucks. To the other end of the floor, Pedro. And he's going to be fouled by Major Wingate. Wingate's first personal, but on the offensive side, it's Major Wingate igniting the foul tonight on FSN.
I don't know what I was thinking.
I tried to tell you, genius.
I can't believe I'm in this situation. We're not having fun anymore.
I'm feeling
Ranked preseason vows, I believe, open up this Sunday.
And one of the first things that head coach Bruce Pearl did when he got here to Knoxville was to meet with Pat Summitt and her staff for several hours, and he was just able to learn a lot about recruiting, about basketball, and about how a successful staff operates. He's going to try to emulate that now on the men's side.
Well, absolutely. Why not use a tremendous resource like Pat Summitt to bring your style of play and program to Knoxville?
Dane Bradshaw, baseball pass in the corner to Chris Lofton.
Well, East Tennessee State just says touche. They come out with a press versus Tennessee, and the Vols turn it over.
Tim Smith, the Atlantic Sun preseason player of the year. East Tennessee State 4 for 8 from the field tonight, 13 turnovers, 5 by Smith, who thought about going into the NBA before this season.
Well, the scouts wanted to see a better assist-error ratio and also wanted to see if he could play point.
Ben Rhoda drives foul line. He's called for traveling, and another turnover. Number 14 for the Bucks this evening. Tim Smith from Newport News, Virginia, a sports management major. As you look at his statistics from last season, Coach Murray Bartow told me that he didn't try to push him either way when he thought about the NBA.
Well, young men have to make their own decision, yet the one thing that stat doesn't show is 123 assists and 140 turnovers for Tim Smith. And the NBA people do have a concern about his decision-making at times.
As a sophomore, he was the Southern Conference Tournament MVP for the second straight season. So we take a look at Asumnu.
Nice, easy basket in the lane. Asumnu, not a great outside shooter, but very good penetrator and can jump up in the lane and make baskets.
14-point lead for the Vols. Now Travis Strong in the game for the Bucks. To Smith, who's guarded by Chris Lofton. The screen by Knuckles allows Smith to dribble left. Goes for three, off the front of the rim, and Dane Bradshaw with the board. Smith now 1 for 3 from the field tonight, and the Vols come back on offense.
Well, and C.J. Watson makes the extra pass to the great shooter. And another three for Chris Lofton. That's why C.J. Watson has led the SEC in assists 2 of the last 3 years. Nice pass.
A physical game as Watson is knocked down on the floor. Bruce Pearl talking about physical. He lifts weights with his team.
That's one way to bond, as you see Watson give it up to Lofton. In transition, you have to find Chris Lofton, an outstanding three-point shooter.
6 points for Chris Lofton tonight, both from long range. Tennessee practiced with the team for a season and learned.
An outstanding high school program. White Station outside of Memphis has always had outstanding teams and players, and Peagram's going to be a terrific player for the Bucks.
fact, Coach Bartow told me that Pegram and Tim Smith, he labeled them as, quote, big-time competitors. Those two guys want to win more than anyone, he said, possibly on either of these teams. Here comes Lofton again. This one rolls out.
As Bruce Pearl calls Chris Lofton over for a little chat.
It's the second personal on Stanley Asumnu. Well, Chris Lofton, it was written in the offseason, thought about the possibility of transferring, and then talked to Coach Bruce Pearl, bought into his system, and decided to stay here in Knoxville.
An outstanding high school player who has taken his game very easily to the next level. That is Tennessee's 8th foul in the first 10 minutes of this ball game. If the pace continues like that, they're going to be in severe foul trouble by the time this game ends.
Bradshaw to Patterson. C.J. Watson. Now Bradshaw for three. It's an air ball and knocked away by Ben Rhoda under the hoop, recovered by the Bucks. Double dribble on Tim Smith. 15th turnover, the 6th for Tim Smith.
Jeff, I believe that was a palming violation, which is an emphasis this year. They're really looking at the guards putting their hand under the ball to take it over and get an advantage because they can cover much more distance by palming the basketball and going to the basket.
And the Vols go for three once again, and Rhoda again is there to pick up the rebound. Ben Rhoda misses the shot, and Major Wingate's there to try to strip it away. And there's a traveling call on the play as Major Wingate rolls the ball back to the referee. 5th turnover for the Vols.
As Bruce Pearl explains to the 6'10 Wingate, you're not a guard, why dribble it?
Pegram tries to pass it to Smith, another buck turnover. Lofton's going to capitalize with a layup. 8 points for Chris Lofton tonight. 16-point lead for the Vols. Just over halfway through the first half of this basketball game, the season opener for Bruce Pearl's Volunteers. It's been 5 minutes and 13 seconds since the Bucks have hit a field goal this evening.
East Tennessee is just struggling. The Tennessee defense is dominating their one-on-one offensive moves. Out of bounds underneath. Bruce Pearl's teams do a great job. They deflect the out-of-bounds pass under their own basket and take it down for a layup. Easy hoop.
Bruce Pearl told me Lofton's a gifted shooter and scorer, better than people think. And he's starting to show that in the season opener tonight, wasting no time. Here comes Bradshaw. Off the left side of the rim. And Taylor takes it up the floor.
Murray Arnold starting to go deeper in his bench, trying to find somebody who can play with enough poise not to turn the ball over.
Last 5.5 minutes, the Bucks are 0 for 5 from the field, 7 turnovers. Not a good way to open the 2005-2006 season in their new Atlantic Sun Conference. One of 3 new members of the conference. Here comes Pegram. And they can't land a shot, Coach.
Not only can they not land one, their patience is becoming worse, and they're starting to get frustrated. Sneed goes over the Wingate for a foul.
Dillion Sneed, charged for his first personal for the Bucks. C.J. Watson wants to make his senior year memorable here in Knoxville. I'm sure head coach Bruce Pearl wants him to do the same. How much does the first year as a head coach mean coming in?
Well, I think it means a lot in terms of not so much wins, Jeff, but in terms of putting your stamp and style onto a program.
Pegram misses the shot, the putback by Taylor. Bounce pass inside Wingate. He's going to lose it. It's 29-15. Bruce Pearl up by 14 in the season opener on FSN. Back in Knoxville, all those students are standing here at Thompson Bowling Arena because they have no chairs. Head coach Bruce Pearl decided to take their chairs away this year and make it a more intimate atmosphere for college basketball, just like he had at UW-Milwaukee.
Well, Bruce has some great ideas. He really enjoys promoting, and he's gone around the state of Tennessee visiting with people, and certainly the students are very important to Bruce Pearl and the new program here at Tennessee. You know, there's no doubt, Jeff, in my mind, I was head coach in the Southeastern Conference for 12 years, and I took 12 different teams here to Knoxville. When this program begins to win, this place will be packed each and every night.
I think one of the important things to mention about Bruce Pearl, he didn't just take those seats away. He went to the student support group, Orange Nation, and he said, hey, this is what I want to do. Can I have your permission? And they bought into it, just like he gets his players to buy in and to build that relationship with their new coach. Juwan Smith pitches to Lofton. This time Lofton misses, and Eric Thomas is there for the rebound. Taylor in the paint. Short jumper, no good. Snead tips it, recovered by Thomas. Thomas with a turnaround. Does it roll in? It does.
Eric Thomas, a junior college transfer from California. Murray Bartow is very high on this youngster, and you can see why.
Attended Santa Rosa Community College under Coach Craig McMillan there.
And the Bucks back in a triangle and two, guarding Lofton and C.J. Watson man-to-man. Want any of the other three Vols to take the shot.
C.J. Watson needs 34 points for 1,000 in his career. So far tonight, he has 5. Major Wingate. Foul is called.
There's an active young man. There's a play you didn't see a lot of during his first 2 years at Tennessee. Major Wingate, first, second, third effort, and winding up at the foul line. Staying at it, keeping it alive. Good footwork, and gets fouled.
Third personal on Eric Thomas of the Bucks, his first season for East Tennessee State after transferring from Santa Rosa Community College. 12-point lead for the Vols as Thomas goes back to the bench. He played last year at 190 pounds. He's added 20 pounds of muscle, now listed at 210. Wingate, 8 points tonight, 4 for 4 from the field as he hits another free throw and puts the Vols back up by 13. Strong loses the basketball, and another turnover for East Tennessee State, their 18th. Huge game for Major Wingate tonight, Eddie.
And a big part of this team, if it's going to be successful, he has to have a breakout year for the Vols.
Wingate again with a bucket. 11 points for Major Wingate. Leads all scorers in this basketball game. This is a guy that last season, under Buzz Peterson, averaged 5 points a game.
Well, again, Jeff, a lot of potential, very active youngster. Nice play by the Volunteers. They bring Wingate free to the block. He just turns and gets an easy basket. Outstanding bounce pass. And the big fella playing with a lot of confidence.
And they have called a technical foul on Major Wingate. That's his second foul of the night. And that's going to send Travis Strong to the free throw line for the Bucks. And Strong hits the basket. Now a 14-point lead again for Tennessee.
Murray Bartow continues to keep Tim Smith on the bench.
Inbound, Ben Rhoda. To Taylor, the second player off the bench for the Bucks. But with Eric Thomas with 3 fouls, he's going to stick in there longer. Snead, for a player that big, how do you try to get them into form for the game?
Well, you've got to keep them under control. Outstanding offensive rebound by Rhoda, and the Bucks are back in this ball game.
11-point lead for the Vols. C.J. Watson to Childress, the freshman who's checked back in. Watson guarded by Taylor, drives in the paint, puts up the jumper, rolls off the rim, the rebound though by Knuckles. Taylor running the point instead of Tim Smith, finds Rhoda in the corner. Rhoda for three.
How about this young man, Taylor, another freshman for Murray Bartow. Nice penetration and pitch for the open three to Rhoda.
Now we're back in single digits, a 7-0 Bucks run here at Thompson Bowling Arena. Taylor, the team MVP in high school. And the Bucks have hit each of their last 3 shots. Here comes Strong. Off the right side of the rim, the rebound by Stanley Asumnu. But fighting under the basket, Dillion Sneed and Ryan Childress. That's going to be the second Dillion Sneed.
Well, Taylor, great penetration to the open Rhoda for 3, and the Bucks are right back in this ball game.
Actually called that foul on Childress, his first personal, putting Sneed back on the line, and this time he misses his free throw. Sneed, a transfer in his second season with the Bucks. His teammate Ben Rhoda said he's shown a great work ethic this year. Attended Colby Community College before last season. And he primarily, as you might be able to tell by his size, played football before his junior year of high school. This is his second free throw in a row. Had a chance to pull his team within 6, but they're still down by 8. Watson to Bradshaw. Bradshaw in the corner to Patterson. Back up top, Watson for a 3 again. Falls down on the shot off the front of the rim, and there'll be a foul call.
And that is the worst fouling in basketball. The three-point shooter being fouled. And now C.J. Watson, a very good foul shooter, goes to the line for 3. Shot 76% of the line last season.
C.J. Watson so far tonight, 5 points. Led the SEC in assists last year, already 2 tonight. Led his team with 155 assists and 58 steals. Bruce Pearl told me he's a great playmaker, plays off the ball, and has a great feel for the game.
Excellent decisions, which is what I really like about C.J. Watson. Knows how to play the game, doesn't force anything, and almost has 2 assists to every turnover during his career here in Knoxville.
A 10-point lead as C.J. Watson hits his free throws, 35-24, now an 11-point lead with 4:37 to play. In the first half, you're in Knoxville. Taylor still in place of Tim Smith at the point. You have to wonder if Murray Bartow is going to bring him back in this game at all before the second half. Patterson is knocked down on the floor. Dillion Sneed is called for his second personal.
Well, that time Sneed thought he was playing football as he bowled over Patterson for the foul. Sneed's a man in there, but he's got to go straight up and not run right over the defender. He's got to have a better feel for where the defensive pressure is coming from.
Sneed has been called a one-man gang in the paint. Another 3 for the Vols.
That's one of those, Jeff, you say bad shot, good shot.
And it was an 8-point game. Now we're back to a 14-point game. Tennessee with 20 points tonight off Bucks turnovers. Here comes Lofton for 3. And Strong is there for the rebound. Smith is back. Tim Smith to Rhoda, now Knuckles. Knuckles misses a 3, and Lofton is there for the rebound. Drives in the paint, dishes down low to Patterson. Will be fouled on the way to the basket. Tennessee. But the Bucks giving them a run for their money here in Knoxville in the season opener. Major Wingate trying to raise the roof at Thompson Bowling Arena. We'll have more on FSN.
You're watching FSN South.
Welcome back. Tennessee leads East Tennessee State 38-24 here in Knoxville. But it's the best player, arguably, for the Bucks, Tim Smith, who has only played 11 minutes tonight, Eddie. 4 points, 6 turnovers. He has no fouls, but he's been sitting on the bench.
Well, outplayed Chris Paul in the 2004 season. This youngster can really play the game. He's just trying too hard tonight here in Knoxville.
Well, I talked to him earlier this week. He told me that he gets up more for big games. To have a big crowd makes him play harder. And he said, hopefully when I leave the arena in Knoxville, they'll say that guy plays tough.
Well, he's a great competitor. I spoke with Jeff Lebo today, the head coach at Auburn, who coached against Tim Smith when he was at Chattanooga in the Southern Conference. And Jeff Lebo said he's the best little guard he's ever seen play. And I guess I said, what do you mean little, Jeff? He said under 5'11", he's the best guard I've seen play.
Tim Smith, his favorite player, Allen Iverson, Philadelphia 76ers. It was Michael Jordan, but then he switched over. After Jordan retired, he went with Iverson.
Well, the other thing, too, here is that he is a lot better than he's showing here tonight. If the Bucks are going to get back in this game and have a chance to win, Tim's going to have to start playing better.
Now Taylor is running the point with Smith in the game, so Smith switching to a different position on the floor. .15 lead for the Vols. 3 minutes, 18 seconds to go in the first half as Courtney Pegram will inbound. Largest lead of the night for Tennessee is 16. They're 1 point away from that. Here comes Smith. Air ball and Patterson there for the rebound as Tim Smith tries from long range.
There's a 38% three-point shooter in his career shooting an air ball.
Maybe the pressure getting to Tim Smith, as you mentioned tonight.
Tom Davis, who he assistant coach under for many years, much like Gary Williams at Maryland, and the illegal screen was called along the baseline.
The Vols shooting about 50% from the field so far tonight. As Pegram drives inside and Bradshaw is going to be knocked over so far tonight. He gets to start as a freshman for East Tennessee State. Watson in the corner to Lofton. Inside to Wingate. Now back to Watson. And the three is good by C.J. Watson.
Now there's a play that wins basketball games. 2 extra passes. Very unselfish hitting the open man.
11 points for C.J. Watson tonight. A 17-point lead for the Vols, their largest of the evening. .2:13 to play here in the first half.
Unselfish play marks great teams. The pitching and the passing and the giving the ball up to the open player, and C.J. Watson for an open three from Major Wingate. A 6'10" center throws it cross court for the open shot.
Major Wingate is going to be charged with his 3rd personal foul, sending so far tonight with 11 points. That's 3 shy of his career high 14. And Ben Rhoda is any way the team needs him to. Dean Bradshaw with the free throw. Inside Rhoda, and he gets back on the board.
Smith showing you he can go right. He's predominantly a left-hander, but he crosses over to the right hand, gets in the lane, and Rhoda gets an easy basket.
Jordan Howell, Dane Bradshaw, top of the circle for Tennessee.
Look at the spread in the Tennessee offense, using the entire half court for excellent spacing.
Lofton, inside Patterson, who's double teamed. Shot clock running down at 4. Shot no good by Howell. And the Bucks come up with it. Tim Smith to Rhoda for another three. An air ball, and Bradshaw comes up with the rebound. Lofton's going to run inside the Patterson, who slams it home.
Chris Lofton, noted as a shooter, has developed his overall game dramatically from last season. The look-away pass for the easy basket. Nice assist by Lofton.
17-point lead for the Vols as we approach halftime. 53 seconds to go. Fighting for the ball on the floor. Tim Smith comes up with it. The jumper in the lane, no good. And Dane Bradshaw recovers, but it's taken back by Taylor. 40 seconds to go in the half. Smith drives in the paint. Dishes down under to Pegram. Down low to Knuckles. For the layup, it's good. And Knuckles gets on the board. 2 points, his first scoring of the night, with 30 seconds to go in the first half.
And Tennessee will play for the last shot of the half. Good timeout from Bruce Pearl, trying to set up a situation where they can get the last shot, have a chance to tip the ball in if it misses, but not give East Tennessee State a chance to counter. Tennessee giving it up, and Chris Lofton fakes the pass to the corner, and Andre Patterson gets the easy basket.
Bruce Pearl's Tennessee Vols so far tonight showing energy on the court, and they're able to create turnovers for the Bucks. They created, of course, 27 turnovers in one of their exhibition games. And so far tonight, 20 in their season opener.
Well, the way these both teams are playing, Jeff, the up and down pace of this game, there's extra possessions, and Bruce Pearl's teams are going to cause more turnovers with extra possessions of a high-tempo game, a very fast tempo, but they also will turn the ball over more than most teams as well. And look at that resume from Bruce Pearl. It all adds up. He's a winner.
Sweet 16 appearance for UW-Milwaukee last season, and learned under his mentor, Dr. Tom Davis. Starting back in Boston College when he was a student, Bruce Pearl started out as the Director of Student Promotions for Boston College basketball. Patterson, shot no good. Lofton with the rebound, no good. And at the end of the first half, Bruce Pearl and the Tennessee Vols up 46-31 on the East Tennessee State University Buccaneers. Tennessee with 20 points off 20 Buccaneer turnovers in the first half. The fans are loving it here in Knoxville. Dean Bradshaw, Chris Lofton, Andre Patterson, and the Tennessee Volunteers trying to put a win on the board in their season opener on FSN. Tonight's East Tennessee State Tennessee basketball game on FSN is brought to you by Dodge. Welcome back. It's 46-31 Tennessee. And the Tennessee Vols cheerleaders getting the crowd fired up as we take a look at our first half stats, Eddie.
Well, it stands out obvious, 20 turnovers for East Tennessee in one half. That is incredible and very hard to believe. They've got to take much better care of the ball, and they're only shooting 1 of 9 from 3. Quite frankly, I was surprised that they lost their poise early with a veteran starting team, and the Vols have played pretty well. They've turned it over a little too much, but they've been very unselfish, and they're 6 of 16 from 3 and shooting well from the field. But there's a lot of game left to be played here tonight in Knoxville.
Head coach Murray Bartow trying to limit the turnovers in the second half for his team. 3 scores in double figures for the Vols. Major Wingate, Chris Lofton, and C.J. Watson, all with 11 points. And it's Ben Rhoda leading East Tennessee State. Here in the second half, C.J. Watson again handles the point for the Vols. Dean Bradshaw hands off back to Watson.
Let's see if Major Wingate can play intelligent basketball. He has 3 fouls. Can he stay out of foul trouble and not get to the bench early in the second half?
Watson again for 3. This one rims out. Foul will be called on the play. It's going to be Dean Bradshaw. His second personal, the 6'4", 200-pound junior guard from Memphis, Tennessee. And Tim Smith will handle the point here in the second half, Coach.
And Tim Smith will have to play a lot better if the Bucks have a chance to win here tonight.
Murray Bartow said he's a big game player. Tim Smith, of course, agreed. They have a mountain to climb here, a 15-point mountain to get back into this game. Get their first two.
Snead very lucky that the offensive foul wasn't called, bowling over Wingate.
That's 7 points for Deleon Snead, the 265-pound senior forward from Chicago. Watson guarded by Smith. Now Bradshaw in the paint. And the double dribble is called. 11th turnover for the Vols.
Let's see if Tim Smith can play within himself, not try to do too much. Let the game come to him.
Rhoda, ball picked off by Lofton. Lofton drives inside, the dish to Stanley Asunu.
How about that acrobatic play right there? Great look, and Asunu, a terrific athlete, gets it in the basket.
Came out of nowhere. Faked the shot, made the pass, and Asunu brought it home. Snead inside against Wingate, one-on-one. And this time, it's taken away by Dean Bradshaw from Deleon Snead. Bradshaw, 7 rebounds, a career high this evening. And Asunu again, 2 in a row. For the 6'5", 215-pound senior forward. His final season with the Vols, wants to start off right. Smith with the layup. 51-35, so back and forth, still a 16-point game. The Bucks have only taken 1 point off the halftime lead.
And the Bucks go to a 2-3 zone. First time they've showed this defense. Murray Bartow trying to figure out a way to slow down the Volunteers.
Asunu again. Will it be 3 in a row? No. And Knuckles and Smith fight over the rebound. It's the smaller Smith that comes up with it. Smith to the foul line. Now Knuckles up top. Bounce pass inside. Snead is going to lose it. C.J. Watson takes over for Tennessee inside to Bradshaw, who hits the layup. 7 points for Dean Bradshaw. Here comes Smith, and he hits a jumper finally.
Well, that was take it through the trap, bring it back, go through the trap, beat the trap, and run it in the lane and make a layup. Tennessee capitalizing on every turnover. Turnovers out front can lead to baskets, and Bradshaw lays it in the hole.
Bradshaw started 7 of the last 11 games last year. 20.8 minutes he averaged in SEC games, and now under new head coach Bruce Pearl. He's going to fill in at the post. And the Vols go with a smaller lineup. Asunu off the rim. Bradshaw another rebound as he increases his career high to 8. And Asunu again, his 3rd basket of this second half. Taken away by Rhoda. To Pegram. Pegram for 2. Just inside the 3-point arc, Courtney Pegram gets back on the board.
That shows the quickness of that young freshman, and I love what these Tennessee State's doing. They've gone zone because there's non-shooters on the court for Tennessee. Lofton taking a rest.
8 points tonight for Courtney Pegram of the Bucks. Freshman starter. Here's Jawan Smith to Watson for 3. And Watson, unguarded at the top of the key, hits another tray tonight. Got 14 points to lead all scorers in this game. Now Pegram for 3. And the rebound by Bradshaw, his 9th of the night. Watson against Ben Rhoda. Blocking foul call. 58-39 Vols with 15:34 to play on FSN. Thompson Bowling Arena is rocking, and the Vols are up by 19, their largest lead of the night here in Knoxville. Tonight's Dodge drive of the game, Chris Lofton to Asumnu. And Stanley Asumnu, who has 3 field goals here in the second half. Just a couple minutes ago to start off the second half and bring the Vols to a higher level of play here at Thompson Bowling Arena. And it was the 3rd assist for Chris Lofton on that drive. That's our Dodge drive of the game. 58-39 Volunteers. As Bruce Pearl moves into the SEC from the Horizon League after leading UW-Milwaukee to a Sweet 16 appearance last year. C.J. Watson trying to fight around Tim Smith. Foul is called on Tim Smith. And that's his first personal.
And an unnecessary foul, Jeff. The clock is running down. Watson's almost at half court. And he and Smith, Watson and Smith got a little thing going here.
Asumnu will inbound for Tennessee. Now Watson, guarded by Smith.
Triangle and 2, back to the triangle and 2, man-to-man on the Tennessee guards.
Inside Asumnu once again. This time he's tripped up by Eric Thomas. It's now time for our Southeast Toyota trivia question answer. The question is, only 2 active head coaches have a higher career winning percentage than UT's Bruce Pearl. Can you name them? And here is our answer. Gonzaga's Mark Few. And as you said, North Carolina's Roy Williams.
2 pretty darn good coaches right there.
And you mentioned that when Bruce Pearl was at Iowa, you were at North Carolina.
Right, I go back to when Bruce was a young assistant at Iowa and I was a little older assistant at North Carolina. I've known Bruce for a lot of years, and of course he followed Tom Davis to Stanford and then went on his own.
Ben Rhoda finds Strong. Inside, the layup is good by Dillion Sneed.
Wingate out of the game. The Bucks are looking to go inside now to Sneed on Patterson.
9 points for Dillion Sneed in this game. And Asumnu will inbound in front of the Bucks bench. Taylor is going to check in for the Bucks, replacing Brad Knuckles. Chris Lofton's going to come back in.
And the 2-3 zone will go out with Lofton back in the game.
Childress inside to Patterson. He loses the basketball. And there's going to be a Vol turnover, their 13th.
Still a lot of time left in this game. The Bucks have got to get good shots each and every time down. Stop turning the ball over, and then they need to turn Tennessee over and get some easy baskets themselves.
Tim Smith inside to Dillion Sneed. Foul underneath the basket. 3 for the Bucks in this half. Timeout called by Murray Bartow of the Bucks to talk things over. As his team trails by 18. Stanley Asumnu with 8 of his 10 points in the second half. We'll be back. Where Tennessee leads East Tennessee State 59-41. And we had a chance to talk with head coach Bruce Pearl earlier about his backcourt.
I think we got our strength is in our backcourt. I think C.J. Watson and Chris Lofton are a really good combination, point guard, second guard, guys that can shoot, that can score, that can handle. And I think for a first-year coach, coming into that gives us some advantage.
There they are. Lofton and Watson combined for 25 points tonight. 6 for 11 from three-point range, 6 assists combined. Bruce Pearl's backcourt. Sneed and Childress. getting a little close under the basket on the other end.
Wow, that was great action. Snead went up to dunk it and just pounded it off the rim. Good thing he didn't get hurt, but the Vols can't counter and they turn it over. You can count on the Tennessee backcourt this year. The key for Bruce Pearl will be his front court. Can Etsu, Bradshaw, Patterson, and particularly Wingate raise their game.
Snead again trying for the shot. Foul's going to be called on Childress, the freshman, his third personal. As Bruce Pearl looks on. Pearl under Tom Davis. Never thought he would be a head coach. He was offered sales jobs out of Boston College, and he was on a trip to New Hampshire with his future wife, and Tom Davis called and he said, "Can you come to my house?" And that's when he offered him the job to join him on his staff at Stanford.
Well, student assistant at Boston College, Bruce was not a great player. I do respect Bruce, I'm sure you played, but was not a great, highly recruited player, but somebody who was very bright and loved the game of basketball and certainly learned it under Tom Davis. And here we have today an outstanding head coach at Tennessee.
Bruce Pearl tried to make it as a walk-on at Boston College, and Tom Davis cut him. That's how their relationship started. And Childress inside gets the bucket.
Well, that's a nice basket for the freshman from Cincinnati, recruited by Bruce Pearl at Wisconsin, Milwaukee, but followed him to Tennessee.
First points of the night for Childress. And now Smith on the other end. 18-point lead for Tennessee. With 13:24 to play, and Rhoda takes it back. Here comes Rhoda to Tim Smith. Jumper. And Dillion Snead puts it in.
Jeff, I think that was a pass. I'm not sure, but I think he lobbed it over the rim. That's what kind of vision the little guy has.
Tim Smith. Impressive court vision, getting the ball to Dillion Snead. Now Lofton, guarded by Strong, is going to drive to the hoop. And the layup, the right side hook shot. He's got 13 points.
Well, and he's got game. Last year, he could not have made that play. He could not put it on the floor to his left hand and get to the basket. Terrific play by Chris Lofton.
63 to 45 Volunteers. Here comes Strong from the foul line. Personal. Once again, Dillion Snead coming back with force here in the second half. 13 points in this game. Under the hoop. C.J. Watson.
Tough break there for ETSU. Had a chance to cut it to 11, had the ball, but turned it over.
Watson with 16 points. Here comes Dean Bradshaw to the foul line. Among four defenders, dishes down low. The basket by Etsu, and he draws the foul. Taylor, his second personal for the Bucks. Stanley Etsu looks like he's hurting a little bit there. Etsu limping a little bit. Bradshaw, the dish, and Etsu 10 second half points.
Southern on FSN South.
67 to 49, Tennessee, with just under 12 minutes to play in the second half. And one of the first things that Bruce Pearl did when he was hired here at Tennessee, he said, "I want to bring Scott Edgar with him."
Well, Bruce Pearl realizes how important staff is, and Scott Edgar, he gets a guy who was an assistant coach at Arkansas during some of the great years for Nolan Richardson. He understands and knows the SEC. In addition, he recruited Memphis when he was an assistant at Arkansas. He brings a lot to the table to Bruce Pearl on his staff.
And after Murray Bartow's run at UAB, Edgar was on the staff there. And their staff led UAB to a 2004 Conference USA championship. Dillion Snead inside once again, gives him 13 points on the night.
Well, there's a guy that plays below the rim but can use his body to create space, angles, and baskets.
Now Lofton again.
Now there's a play I've never seen Major Wingate make. He catches the ball at the post in midair, but he gets it off to Lofton for the easy three, and the little fella counters with a great assist, and the Bucks still fighting hard.
Rhoda and Watson on the last two buckets. Watson with 16 points, along with Lofton with 16 points for the Volunteers. Watson to Bradshaw. Now Major Wingate for three. Air ball, and Strong is there to pick it up.
Well, maybe Major got a little too confident on that shot selection, Jeff.
We've seen some air balls from three-point land tonight in this season opener. Might take a while though. 25 turnovers for East Tennessee this evening. They're down by 17 to the Volunteers. Referees will confer.
It's actually a pass to Major Wingate on a set play on the other side of the rim. Good call by the officials, non-shooting foul.
Dean Bradshaw will inbound. This year's tournament and next year's tournament. While Gardner Webb was picked in the preseason poll to win the regular season in the Atlantic Sun, this Bucks team was picked to win the league's tournament.
I really like, and he is really high. That is Murray on Eric Thomas, who got in foul trouble here. They will get a lot better with experience.
Inside the Vols. Dean Bradshaw comes up with it. Now to Lofton for three.
Wow.
And the Vols have stolen the ball 11 times now tonight.
And you can see why he shoots 46.5% from beyond the arc.
Here comes Pegram. Fans on their feet, taken away by Chris Lofton. Inside to Watson for the layup. 77-53.
And every turnover by the Bucks results in an easy basket for the Vols.
It's a 24-point lead. And the fans here in Knoxville can feel the Vols trying to put the nail in the coffin. 26 turnovers for the Bucks has helped them out tonight. 30 points off turnovers as Smith hits a triple for East Tennessee State. Tim Smith runs the point for three again. He nails it. And Bruce Pearl can't be happy with this defense even though he's off by so many. Inside, Wingate is double-teamed by Rhoda and Knuckles. Dish down low to Bradshaw. Strong takes it away, and it's a turnover for Tennessee. Here comes Tim Smith, drives in the paint, one-on-one, gets the bucket.
Well, the little fella's on a roll. Watch out. He can put points up in a hurry, and here he goes again with a great takeaway from behind.
Tim Smith,
right-handed
shot. We've gone from a 24-point lead back to 14, all due to Tim Smith in the last minute and a half of play. 15 points in this game. Bradshaw. Up top to Howell.
Being down by 14 with 8.5 minutes to go is really like being down 6 or 7.
Tim Smith, once again, no good. The rebound this time by Eddie DeBro, who's checked in, but Smith takes it back, goes for the shot, fouls. So Tim Smith, who sat for about 6 minutes in the first half of this game, has really come out and tried to ignite this Bucks team. But Tennessee is not going to lay off on the offensive side.
Wow, Lofton misses that one. You never know. He can really shoot the basketball.
22 for Lofton. Smith misses the three. Foul will be called against the Bucks. It's going to be Eric Thomas, and that will be Thomas's fifth. A 17-point Tennessee lead. Now 11 points and 12 rebounds for Dean Bradshaw. His first double-double. As now Taylor runs the point. And it's taken away by Chris Lofton. Lofton with the steal, the break to the basket. Taylor is there. He will be charged with the foul. Travis Strong, his third personal. And Chris Lofton. Talk about the speed of Chris Smith. Tim Smith Lofton has it for the Vols. Jeff Friedman and Eddie Fogler here in Knoxville. It's 82-64, Tennessee. Head coach Bruce Pearl of the Volunteers. His son Steven has a high school basketball game tonight because he's not here. But Vanderbilt coach Kevin Stallings, who you know, Eddie, he said, I've known Bruce for a long time. His team was impressive at Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and he was watching his son Steven play back in July at a recruiting event, and he was going to ask Bruce if they could recruit him, but he was afraid it would be an illegal contact. So Pearl said, I'd love to have a son at Vanderbilt. One, it's a great school, and two, if that's the best they could get, they'd be in trouble.
Well, Kevin's a great guy, and I know he has a lot of respect. Kevin's done a great job at Vanderbilt for Bruce, and what a great rivalry, the in-state rivalry of Vanderbilt and Tennessee. And of course, we have that football game here in Knoxville tomorrow.
Vanderbilt against Tennessee at 12:30. A lot of the fans here tonight will go right across the way to the football game tomorrow.
So if you're not here, turn on Fox and watch a great football game.
Dean Bradshaw takes it away. Now Jordan Howell to Patterson. Up top, Bradshaw. In the corner, Chris Lofton for three once again. No good, and Dillion Sneed is there for the big rebound, his 8th of the evening. In the corner, Pedro. He misses the three. Patterson's there, but knocks it out of bounds. It's going to be off the Bucks, though. It'll remain Tennessee basketball.
Tennessee out.
Ben Rhoda has the ball almost knocked away by Juwan Smith. What a recovery on the floor to Asumnu. And Asumnu hits the bucket and draws the foul. He's Mr. Right Place at the right time this evening.
Well, give credit to Bruce Pearl and his staff. A terrific scouting report. That is the 4th steal from an out-of-bounds play underneath that has resulted in an easy basket. These turnovers are plays that East Tennessee State is not having not getting the ball, inbounds, because Tennessee has scouted their plays and is stealing the basketball and getting easy hoops.
14 points for Stanley Asumnu tonight, 12 of them in this second half. And Tim Smith, foul called before the shot, so the basket does not play. Asumnu inside to Patterson. And now Asumnu with the assist. Back to a 24-point lead for the Volunteers, and Smith goes up for the shot. Another foul is called.
And the Tennessee scouting report here yesterday in practice was make him go right, but he can go right. Asumnu stepping up his game in the opening game of the year for Bruce Pearl, and the great pass to Patterson for the easy basket. And the little guy shot.
Tim Smith now 24 points on the night, averaged 22.2 points last season. We know he's capable of scoring more. That big 41-point game against Georgia Southern.
Here are the Vols now becoming a little bit more patient, using the clock up 21 with 6:20 to go.
Gonna hold on to the basketball. Bradshaw in the paint. The layup is good.
Well, it doesn't get much better than that. They take 33 seconds off the shot clock and score.
14 points for Dean Bradshaw. The three rims out. There for the rebound is Juwan Smith.
Well, here's a young man has stepped his game up tonight. Bradshaw taking it in as the clock winds down and goes to the offhand. Excellent left hand by Dane Bradshaw.
His teammate C.J. Watson told me that he thinks Dean Bradshaw is the most improved player on this Tennessee club. Not only that, but it's because he comes in late at night to practice his shots, and it's showing here in the season opener. 13 children. His brother Ryan played at Kings Point, his brother Cody at Cornell, and his sister Bridget played basketball at Barry. So it runs in the family. Williams hits the triple. Back to a 20-point lead for Tennessee, 90-70. as the Volunteers play keep away and try to eat time on the clock. And a blocking foul is going to be called on Dante Williams. His first personal. So the freshman guard from Romulus, Michigan gets some playing time under Murray Bartow. Had 18 minutes in the exhibition game. And that will send Patterson to the line.
You know, the other thing, Jeff, that the Vol fans are very excited about, Bruce Pearl had a terrific early signing recruiting period, one of the best, if not the best, in the Southeastern Conference. Signed 4 players. Wayne Chisholm, a 6'9" forward from Tennessee. Duke Cruz, very, very highly recruited player from Virginia. And then he goes into the Midwest, where he has ties, being at Iowa and in Milwaukee. And I think that's a great era for Tennessee. He gets Marcus Johnson out of Indiana, 6'5" forward, and Josh Tabb out of Ohio.
Bruce Pearl implements his new system as Tim Smith hits the layup. 20-point game once again. Foul this time is going to be called against Tim Smith. It'll be his 3rd personal. As you see, Murray Bartow and Tim Smith.
Yeah, the ability to get in, and now he goes left. He can go left, he can go right, he can throw the floater up, as we've seen. He can also shoot from 3. Very difficult to guard. The question with Tim Smith is decision making, the assist error ratio. Again, he had more turnovers last year than assists, and that's the case here tonight.
I'm sure Murray Bartow is going to be wondering how he can get Tim Smith to play both halves like he played this second half. 22 points of his 26 tonight in the second half.
And there's more to come. Still 5 minutes left to play.
Here comes Smith once again at the foul line. The jumper. No good. Rebound taken away by Childress.
Now that didn't go in, but how good was that? That came close to going in.
94 points tonight already. Bruce Pearl eclipsing the total scoring output, the highest scoring output of Buzz Peterson's club last year at 90 points versus Campbell. Haven't scored over 100 points since the 2003-2004 season. That was against Texas A&M.
Well, I assure you, I mean, they led the Horizon in Milwaukee, Wisconsin-Milwaukee in scoring. When Bruce goes in to recruit, he will bring the numbers and the statistics to show that if you come to Tennessee, you will be playing full court, up and down basketball. And again, that's what real good players want to play.
Courtney Pigra. Bounce pass inside. Here comes Sneed. Dilion Sneed fights for it and gets knocked down among 3 Vol defenders. Here comes Lofton. Inside pass. Stripped by Dante Williams. C.J. Watson will try to take it away from Williams unsuccessfully. And Smith drives to the hoop. Lofton with the rebound. Watson guarded by Smith. As the 2 point guards fight over it, dishes out to Asumnu, who floats into the lane and hits the bucket. 16 points for Stanley Asumnu. Of course, his girlfriend, Candace Parker, not a bad player herself for the Lady Vols.
Well, how about that? It's a pretty good situation there. She's a terrific 6'4", 6'5" player who was hurt a lot of last year.
Stanley Asumnu, a new career high already in the first game under Bruce Pearl of 16. Never scored more than 14 before. 5 lead here in Knoxville. Stanley Asumnu leading the charge for the Vols.
Just do whatever it takes, you know. I mean, I've swept the floor and I've done the laundry, and the managers will not be carrying my bags. I'll carry my own bags, thank you, and so will our players. And so I'm kind of proud that I did it out of the backseat of my car for a lot of years, and I'm driving a nicer car now than I was driving back in those days, but I'm still proud of where I came from, and we're going to do it the old-fashioned way at Tennessee.
Bruce Pearl doing it the blue-collar way. He's going to work hard, get this program back on track.
Well, a new coach, it's obviously a new system from what Buzz Peterson ran here at Tennessee. It's a totally different style, and one I think the Volunteer fans will embrace. And certainly, again, it's about recruiting. I think Bruce will be able to recruit very well here with this brand of basketball.
How hard is it as a new coach coming in to earn the respect of your players, especially the upperclassmen?
Well, it takes a while. It's not only hard, it takes time. And what I believe, Jeff, is kids will play hard for you. They will do what you ask them to do if first they must respect you, and then they must trust you. And if you get their respect and trust, you can get kids to really put out. However, that takes time and a lot of energy on the coach and coaching staff's part.
Bruce Pearl bringing the same attributes that he brought as student director of promotions for the men's basketball team at Boston College for the head coaching job many years later here in the SEC. Asumnu misses the shot and Rhoda with the rebound. Tim Smith dishes down low to Pegram, who hits the three. Courtney Pegram.
And you can see the potential of this freshman, Courtney Pegram. I'm really impressed with that young man, and the Bucks have an outstanding backcourt. In fact, they have great depth at guard. They can go 4 deep.
Again, Stanley Asumnu. Give him 18. Asumnu and Watson have combined for 40 of the 102 Tennessee points tonight. Again, Dante Williams this time. 6 points for him in a few minutes of play here in the second half. As we approach the 2-minute mark, last time they scored 100, it was against Texas A&M. December the 2nd of 2003. 108 in that game. So we'll see if they can eclipse that mark. #15th steal for Tennessee as Jawan Smith handles the point. Under the 2-minute mark, Tennessee's going to hang on to the ball as they try to put themselves on the map here in the SEC, Eddie. This non-conference season is going to be important with such tough opponents that Bruce Pearl has lined up. It rolls out, the rebound by Childress. Snead is fighting over it. Tonight, our Lincoln Mercury player of the game. 24 points for Lofton this evening. 8 for 16 from the field. 6 for 12 from three-point range. And Chris Lofton, the sophomore guard. And what a great thing for Bruce Pearl to look forward to. He's got this guy for 2 more years after this.
Much improved, really has jumped his game up, much more than just a shooter. Jeff, you make a good point about the upcoming schedule for non-conference schedule for Tennessee. Very, very difficult. 5 of their 11 non-conference games, the team is picked to win the league. 3 other teams are picked second. They have to play road games at Texas, at Oklahoma State. A very difficult non-conference schedule for the Volunteers.
Just like this game, the Bucks, of course, picked as the preseason tournament champions of the Atlantic Sun Conference tournament.
The court for Murray Bartow. But what do you do when you're up late in the game and other teams begin to foul him and he cannot make free throws?
Here comes Howell. Now Jawan Smith. Guarded by Williams as we approach the 1-minute mark. The Bruce Pearl era in Tennessee is going to start on a high note. In front of a big crowd in Knoxville as Howell, on his 21st birthday, misses the jumper. Paul told us earlier, if you can't win the first game in the locker room, he told his team, you can't get to 20 wins. Here's Pegram with the shot.
To me, the most impressive part for Tennessee tonight is the complementary players of a year ago have stepped their game up, at least for this first game. If they're going to have any success, those players have to continue to have good games and outstanding seasons for Bruce Pearl.
Tennessee men's athletic director Mike Hamilton as Jawan Smith adds a three-pointer to the mix. He called Bruce Pearl the morning after he was eliminated from the NCAA tournament last year and offered him his first head coaching position in the SEC. He's got to be happy with the first step Pearl has taken after that. Tennessee 39 points, off 32 turnovers for the East Tennessee State University Bucks tonight. 54% from the field is what the Vols have shot this evening. As they pump up the crowd in Knoxville, the final score 106-45 in favor of Tennessee. Eddie, what are your final thoughts?
Well, congratulations to Bruce Pearl. Obviously an exciting system of play. His players jumped up. This East Tennessee State team is going to play better. You can't win with 32 turnovers. I look for Murray Bartow and the Bucks to have an outstanding year in the Atlantic Sun.
Our final score from Knoxville, 106-45. Tennessee wins it. Tune in Sunday at 1:30 Eastern for more SEC basketball as Toledo visits defending NIT champion South Carolina. For producer Andy Pollack, director Karen Runselli, and our entire crew, for Eddie Fogler, I'm Jeff Friedman. The Tennessee Volunteers win it here on FSN.